I want to discuss how to solve equations using factoring. Okay, so imagine you wanted to solve this equation. Okay, now you know how to factor already, or you should know. So you could factor this and you would get this expression. Now that would actually help you, even though it might not be obvious yet. Let me show you why that would help you. Okay, let's think about what we have here. We have a product equaling 0. All right, think about every product that you know that equals 0. I dare you to come up with about 5 pairs of numbers that multiply to 0. Okay, maybe 5 times 0, 0 times 8, 10 times 0, 0 times pi, okay, 13.1 times 0. Now you'll notice that every pair you can come up with has to have one or both be 0. Okay, 0 times 0 is also 0. So what that tells us is if a product is equal to 0, then one or both of those pieces have to be 0. Okay, we can take advantage of that to figure out the x values that satisfy the original equation. Okay, if both of these pieces multiplied together give 0, then that means either the first piece is 0 or the second piece is 0. Okay, well, if the first piece is 0, that means x is 0. If the second piece is 0, well, let's solve that. Let's add x to both sides. So 4 equals x. Okay, so that means if what we just did was true, then if x was equal to 0 or x was equal to 4, then the original equation should be satisfied. Go ahead and plug in both of those numbers into 4x minus x squared. You'll see that you get 0. All right, so to recap, you get 0 on one side if you don't have 0 on one side already. You factor the other side if you can. If you can, you know that one or more of the factors, the pieces that are being multiplied together, has to be 0. Okay? Let's do a couple more examples. So what about the following? X squared minus x minus equals 6. Okay, let's see if we can do that one. Now, yes, you can factor the left side, but don't you dare do that, okay? Because before we start playing the factoring game, we want a 0 on one side. Okay, so first subtract 6 from both sides. Okay, please do that. Please don't forget to get the 0 first. All right, now that you have a 0 on one side, now think about factoring the other side. So factoring it would give, in this case, x minus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, so the only way that product could be 0 is if one or both of the factors are 0. So x minus 3 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. Now let's solve each of those. The first one will add 3 to both sides. The second one will subtract 2 from both sides. So x equals 3 or x equals minus 2. Now once again, plug those two values into the original equation and you will see that it is satisfied. Okay? To repeat, if you want to solve an equation using factoring, get a 0 on one side and factor the other side, the non-zero side. Okay? The only way that that product can be 0 is if one or more of the pieces of the factors are 0. Okay? So go ahead and literally set each of the pieces to 0, and that'll give you, each of those pieces will give you an answer. Okay? Now, remember, you can't always factor every expression, so it's not guaranteed that this is always going to work. Okay, and lastly, very important, check your work. Okay, I know you guys always want to get the right answer on homeworks and exams, so this is how to do it. When you get an answer, go back to the original equation, plug it in, see if the equation is actually satisfied. That's a very quick and easy thing to do, and you'll get a lot of happiness if you do that. Okay?